All right. Welcome everybody to the first. What do we want to call this? How to draw Drawfee inspired episode. To the Drawfee channel. Thank you very much for inspiring us to be awesome artists and do things on YouTube, which is super fun. We are going.
Call it how people draw.
How people draw. I like that. We could do that.
That's not bad.
I have invited Ace, Dippy, Sierra, and Jonas onto the Aggie.io software, and we are going to be redrawing. Submitted aarakocra here from.
I believe it's SuikaBunni.
Lovingly submitted to us for a quick redraw, and the intent is that we're each going to take some time and just redraw it in our own style, and hopefully talk about how we're drawing, and or not so much how we're drawing, but how we get to that point, why we're drawing the way we do, in an attempt to help people improve their drawings. Not that this needs to be improved. I love this picture. I was really happy with it, and I think it'll be a really fun redraw. I think I'm going to do the starting of this one, so I'll draw first. This is an experimental episode. Feel free to drop any comments down below if you have any suggestions, or if you'd like to see something that you've redrawn, maybe submit those to our comments or in the Discord, and we'll go from there. So once again, welcome everybody. I'm Rookzer0. I draw stuff on YouTube. I did start with the head, which I know a lot of people don't do, which is kind of weird. I should be finding like a line. All of my art trainings like find the line of action and then start blocking things in. But oh man, I just like drawing the head first. It's just
My sister told me not to do that.
Not to draw the head first?
Yeah.
Yep.
Start with the torso.
Yep. Everyone says you should start with the torso. I'm a rebel.
Oh no, I start with the head too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. My sister still starts with the head. She doesn't notice it usually.
Dippy, do you start with the head too?
I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah.
All right. So what we've discovered is that we have an entire studio of artists that all draw wrong.
I start with the hips.
Oh gosh.
So,
I just
is the
start
part
with
where
like the
I'm clicked off
right
the video.
hand, just like that middle finger on the right hand, and then I just build up from there.
you do one of like the claws, and then like, hey, now I got fingers. Great. I do stuff like that from time to time. I don't know what this pose is. This is such a strange pose, but I dig it.
Hear me. Ah.
I super love it.
Yeah. While you're drawing this, I am actually looking up some references of like how to get a good pose.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people.
Oh, same.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I actually like that you're all looking up references. I kind of dove right into this. Maybe it's a good thing I went first. But yeah, I use references quite a lot in my art, especially for like the art videos. I usually spend a lot of time looking at, like, especially like the D&D monster manuals, and I see what has been used before. So I think a lot of early artists struggle with deciding how to use reference, because they also get yelled at for like, hey, don't copy things. But it's like, it's pretty natural for people to want to start doing art by just copying something they like. And that's not a bad thing. Tracing is bad because you're not building up any skills. But trying to replicate something is a really good way to study. And so I say a lot of like photo studies are really good ways to do it, where you take a photo and you redraw it. Kind of what we're doing now, like in your own style. Like, how can you find those shapes?
Like, I never really understood why people were ashamed of reference material. I was just gonna, I get being ashamed of like tracing. For like 8 to 10 years, I was a semi-professional art model. I worked for a couple of colleges, for a couple of classes, and like the thing that the teachers are always harping on was like, you have to have a reference that you're drawing from, or else you won't be able to see where you're going wrong.
When I was in high school and I really started wanting to actually draw and not just like doodling on things, I went to anime because it's very easy to basically just take a picture of Goku and redraw it, and like then you feel like, I did the art because it looks good, because it is such a simplified style, because it's animation.
Yeah.
And what a lot
Same
of
with Pokemon.
Yeah, same thing with Pokemon. Like if you draw Pokemon, they look like Pokemon. It's so, I want to say it's so easy to make a Pokemon look like Pokemon, but that's probably not really true. Because it's such a simplified animation style, it's meant to be drawn quickly and simply with really basic shapes. It gives you a boost of confidence. But when you show that to like an art instructor, the first thing they're going to say is, okay, you can't just copy Pokemon. Like that's not, you can't just copy Pokemon. And it gets this weird tendency of, oh, I shouldn't be using Pokemon. I should be drawing my own things from my head. And then so what you're talking about is having reference doesn't mean you are copying something. It means you're having a physical representation of what you're drawing. And so for me, art is all about filtering. It's how am I taking this and get used to using references and just exposing yourself to lots of art of the similar style or technique that you're doing. Like, so what you guys are doing, looking up aarakocra right now. That's great. Like your art will benefit from it.
Yeah, I am like getting excited for drawing this because it's like there's so much potential for floofiness, and I love drawing floofy.
Yeah, you gotta figure out what you like and just go for it.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that we can take like a little bit of creativity with this as well and add some things.
This is.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure she'd love that.
A lot of the things you see me redrawing here are very much just trying to add a little more depth, a little more volume, because that was a very straight cut, and now that'll give it a little more life, I think. Cross-hatching shading style that I've been trying to steal from Todd McFarlane for years and have failed mostly. And that's kind of what
that makes me wonder, what's everyone's like style goal?
Oh, I don't know, because I like doing plein air paintings, which is like a completely different thing from like D&D character art.
I just want my style to get to a point where I can finish a drawing or painting or sculpture or whatever and look at it and think, you know what? All of those little things that bother me don't bother me so much.
Yeah, that took me a long time.
I'm not gonna freak out about it.
Yeah, I very similar thing actually. I keep on having to change my character design so much after I think that I finish them. It's like, wait, I don't like that shirt. I want to give him a different shirt, or I don't like those shoes. I want to give him different shoes. Yeah, and I do want to at some point make like scenery, so backgrounds, and actually put my characters into them. Maybe even build off of that into comics, possibly.
Just saying, we could do a Drawfee style episode where everyone has to do backgrounds.
I knew that's where you were going with it, and I feel personally attacked again.
The thing is, I'm terrible at drawing like backgrounds. I can't even draw a tree.
One of my worst things. For a long time, I was like, I can't color, but really, it was like, I can't do backgrounds. And if I don't color, I don't have to do a background.
Surprisingly enough, I've done backgrounds that I actually liked, but it was with watercolors.
Oh, watercolors so fun.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
Because backgrounds are pretty easy to do with just colors, but if you're using what I do usually is just sketch everything, then it's a bit different story.
Don't finish
Awesome.
it. There we go.
Oh man, I was so excited and now I'm like nervous as crap. my stomach just sank.
It's all right. Jonas is next. Jonas is gonna be up next. So that's my firebending aarakocra. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's a cool little transition. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off, and we'll pass it over to the Jonas. Jonas, you are up. What were you talking about? I'm sorry.
I was saying that I never finish my drawings with color because I just don't know how to. I practice it, of course, but I mean, I can do like simple stuff like filling the colors and maybe the shadows, but I want to do more.
Yeah, that's definitely something I need to expand upon, because right now most of my art is just blue shadows. That's my trick. Hashtag that's how I do all shadows, is I just add blue. But there's a lot of color theory that I think I just need to learn, and I just slowly practice it over time. So
to any aspiring artists out there, you know what you need? Practice. It's always practice.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
It's not recording?
It stopped recording. It wasn't recording.
Stop recording. It's back now.
I must have
This is
double
what Jonas
clicked.
has been drawing.
So Jonas is going. Here's the little bird folk.
I could redraw it.
It's up to you. If you want to start over, you can. Otherwise, we can just re-summarize what you talked about.
You can think of it, if you keep going, you can think of it as you get an extra 15 to 20 minutes.
Do you guys have any questions how I draw stuff?
Yeah, so you started with drawing the body first, and there was a long conversation about how you said you really don't know what you're doing when you draw and you just roll with it. I think that kind of intuition is like the benefit of practice. The more you draw and the more you keep looking at things that you've drawn over and over again, you get kind of used to a way of drawing. And if you don't critically look at that and kind of let your mind do what it wants, but be able to adjust it, you kind of get in a weird rut. So going into something not being structurally set to one thing can be really beneficial. But do you feel like you really do that? Like, it's kind of an offhanded comment. Do you really not have a plan the entire time? Or when do you start kind of knowing what you're doing and feel it out?
Oh, that's a big question.
Sorry, yeah, that was kind of a long-winded question.
So, most of the time I kind of go with it, but when I want to draw something, I don't know. It's a hard question to answer, actually. I'd say I start to know what I'm doing when I get into the flow of the things. Usually I think, like, my thought process is, yeah, this looks good enough. Like, that's what I think.
Okay.
I know I'm never going to achieve perfection, so I just go for the good enough situations.
And I think those two things kind of in the same wheelhouse, because you either have too much of this perfect idea that you just want to copy, or really you have too vague of an idea and you're not sure what to do. So being able to just go with the structure lines, draw poses until something captures your mind is kind of how I work through a lot of my stuff.
The way I approach it, or the way I approach practice, as you described it, is super motivated by hatred.
Spiteful art.
So when people said, "I wish I could draw what they were actually saying," or at least what I heard, and this is probably mostly my fault, but like what I heard them saying is, "It's really cool that you can do that. I don't care enough to learn how to do that myself." For about 3 months, out of spite, the only thing that I drew in my sketchbook was stick figures, and I would do wireframe poses, exploring all sorts of interesting poses and dynamic action things that you could put people in. So that the next time somebody said to me, "I can't even draw a stick figure," I could pull open my sketchbook and say, "Let me teach you how to draw a stick figure."
That's
because
beautiful.
You can do it. Yeah, right?
That's great.
It's super passive aggressive thing for me to do.
I think all artists are a little passive aggressive.
Undoubtedly.
So
Undoubtedly.
there was a phase when I only drew stick figures in school because I just wanted. So now that I think about it, the way I practiced drawing a lot was just because I wanted to draw something. I was bored.
Yeah.
I know. So here's the thing: almost everyone in my family can draw.
Interesting.
Which is weird. Everyone encourages everyone to draw in my family.
Something that keeps coming up with what Dippy was saying and now with what you're saying is the way I've always looked at it and always been told is that art is cultivated. It's not something that you just have, and especially with creativity. Like, it's something you cultivate and something you practice. I mean, that's the same like improv comics. Everyone thinks, oh, they're just geniuses because they just come up with this stuff. But like, the way they interact with the world is something that they have cultivated over a long period of time. And so, yes,
What time, by the way?
There wasn't actually a timer. I totally made that up. You can totally draw as long as you want. I actually wanted to ask you about your lines, because you started with something very sketchy, which we lost, and I'm sorry. And I like your very simple, the poses you come up with. But then on your finished piece, your line weights, is that something that you consciously focus on? Or is it something that you've just kind of aesthetically chosen? Or is it just something that happens? Like this right here. Look at that.
Sometimes notice that I'm really light when I draw. And it's mainly because I don't want to wear out my pencil and this actual tip of this out. But it's kind of, in order to not wear out my pencils as much, it's kind of become, you know how people who claim that they don't know how to draw, they draw super hard lines, and when they erase it, it's super hard to erase because it's deeply embedded in the paper. I hate those marks so much that I practice to actually draw on paper very lightly.
Awesome.
And I think I just do it nowadays.
It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
It's really awesome.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Like, you have a lot of variation in your in how thick and thin your lines are, and it makes the drawing really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of visual interest just all over it. Like I said, like this little piece, I'm gonna poke it. This little piece right here, at the top of the head, just that very subtle line shift from the forehead to the feather draws your eyes to it. You look at it like, oh, that's cool, and then you go to the eye, and then you go down to like the shoulders, and all those little dark spots just kind of pop around the joints and the feet, and I love it. It's something that I would very much like to emulate, which is cool, which is great, and it's something that I'd like to focus on. But that's normally what we're talking about.
I do that because otherwise, well, I draw a lot on paper, and I realized if I do everything the same thickness, it looks flat.
Yep, exactly. That is something that happens quite often. So
The reason we're paying you the compliment is because most people don't pick that up on their own. Most people have to be told it.
You're doing good. Like I said, I think you... Oh, we probably lost that audio. I think you have really good practice habits without being told to do it that way. And it could be because your whole family draws. I mean, it could be something that you've just cultivated over time, being able to have those conversations with your family.
So we haven't heard from Ace or Sierra very much recently. Like
I was actually about to say, can we talk about the fact that Rook literally said, "I'll let you guys introduce yourselves," and then no one ever did. So we're literally just talking.
Oh yeah. You know what? Should we just do that when we draw?
I would say
Like,
so.
Do like an introduction. So Jonas, give your introduction.
Sorry, this is at the end, but my name is
Well, I mean, we
Jonas.
lost the audio where you would have done it anyway, so...
I can cut it. Fix it in post.
My name is Jonas, and I like to draw as a hobby, and I've been doing it for 16 years. I'm 20, by the way, and I like to draw, mainly. I have an art station where I never put anything, so you can check it out. If you follow me, I might put something there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jonas, for drawing. Ace, you're up.
Oh boy. Alrighty. Well, I am Ace. I am an artist. What? Wrong thing. I'm trying to do the zoom. There we go. Hi, I'm Ace. I do have an Instagram, but I don't really post much things on there.
You very much went from a circle. Are you drawing a pigeon? That would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it could be.
You did a base circle, starting with the head again. We're talking about that.
Yeah.
And then you just went into like great detail all of a sudden. That's bananas. I don't see a lot of people doing that. Why?
Yeah. Why?
Why?
I don't know. I wish that I could say like how I do my art, but honestly, I just go into it. Like I'll look at something, and then I'll go heavily based off of that.
Sorry, you do have reference, like lots of reference with you right now?
Yes, I have a whole bunch of different pictures of different like birds and how other people tend to draw bird heads.
Awesome.
And all that. And
So
I
that's
do
like I have no
remember before we started recording, we did mention that it kind of looked like Dorito from Breath of the Wild. I also have some images up for that to help me with like how the wings are for that.
See, that makes a lot more sense now. If you're using a lot of reference, it's a lot easier to come up with those small details on the fly. Whereas for me, I have to do a lot of base sculpting first. Like, how do I want this to look, blah, blah, blah. Because I don't use a lot of reference. I need to use more.
So I'm a big fan of your art style, Ace.
Really?
Yeah.
You are. You would say, it's
Can we
probably-
pause for a second and just look at the foreshortening on this hand?
Yeah, I'm like looking at it and like, oh gosh, this is like terrible.
No, it's super good.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Like you didn't have any. You did no structure lines. You did no blocking, and you're just like, oh yeah, it would look like this, and it's just like,
Busted out. Yeah.
how the hell did you just do that?
I don't know.
It's using
You've done
your
something
imagination.
none of the rest of us can. Well, I shouldn't speak for everybody else, but you've done something that I am incapable of doing.
Oh man, I struggle so much. I constantly have to draw like the weird cylinders for the arms. It's like I think it would be bent this much.
I mean,
Yeah, this is. I did have like an original idea of like what pose to do, kind of like you know the Rio movie with like the blue birds.
Oh yeah.
I ended up having like a picture up of that for like a pose, like a dancing kind of thing, because I
Okay.
wanted to like do kind of like a pose where they're firebending.
Probably should have mentioned this. This guy's name is Haru. The character.
Okay.
The character's name is Haru, and he's like very flamboyant, very flashy. Constantly trying to like show off how good he is. So kind of actually like Rivali from Breath of the Wild, but less of a jerk.
A
You should
nicer
probably
Rivale.
point out that Sierra just happened to know the person whose image we picked,
Yeah.
and none of us knew it, and there is no favoritism here.
I will take total responsibility for that because I picked the picture and I was like, I want to do this. It's great. And then Sierra was like, oh, I know whose character that is. And I was like, oh, crap. So absolutely, that was me. That was me. We're definitely not trying to pick people's characters that we know. So definitely keep sending in your pictures because we want to see them and we want to draw them.
Oh, one thing that does help with foreshortening, if you have a phone with a ultra wide angle camera, which I think that's like the Samsung Galaxy S20s. I think the OnePlus 8 Pro also has it. Samsung Galaxy Note 10s, iPhone 11s do too. But if you use the ultra wide angle camera on your phone, it exaggerates like the foreshortening for you. If you take a photo with that kind of a lens, you can definitely see the difference.
Yeah, just like a line of fire. He's like, look at this, I could do a cool trick.
The moment you
I
said
have
fire
no
whip,
idea.
I got flashbacks to a Baylor fight. Oh. Holy shit. That shit
I was
hurts,
just
man.
thinking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And what a disappointment that whole series turned out to be.
Lord of the Rings?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I heard... No, I'm sorry. I heard Baylor and I thought Game of Thrones.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's the thing. I've never watched Game of Thrones, so...
Yeah.
feel
I
free to
haven't
spoil
either.
everything for me.
I should, though. I want to read the books, though.
Well, now we have to do a Game of Thrones episode.
Oh my
I also
god,
have-
yes.
Also have never watched Game of Thrones or read the books, so I will
Okay.
be useless.
Great.
But
Great.
that's a Drawfee thing though, is like artists draw, like Neopets that they've never seen
Yeah.
before.
Guess
I
the
don't know what
Pokemon.
Neopets is, by the way, so...
I don't want to be the Julia, though. That's a lot to live up to.
Didn't you just pressure me into being the Julia?
Because
My
you're going
question is,
last.
who am I then?
You
Let's
know,
see.
if we take it into consideration, though, it's my fault because I said let's just go in the order that the layers are.
I was going to accept all of the Julia responsibility until it let me off the hook.
So my question is, if they are Julia, who the hell am I?
That's a good question.
Jacob.
That's funny. I was gonna say Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah, he's the snarky, bitter one who always has something kind of snide to say.
I was gonna say sassy, but yeah, that works too. I think that's a good one.
Snack.
I don't want to.
Oh, Drawfee, if you ever watch this, please don't be offended.
I
Uh,
really
we
hope.
love you
I
so
really
much.
hope you all know how much we love your show, and so we do this in homage and because we love it.
So
Big
Drawfee, if
fans,
you're watching this,
everybody.
I've only seen 2 of your episodes, so sorry.
Don't pay attention to our Jacob.
Jonas is now not Jacob.
Jonas is here. Can we talk about this belt?
Ah,
How
yes.
awesome it is.
It's a great cloth folding.
Thank you. I practice so much because I like to have something around the waist, especially if it's like a really long coat. I like to put it on the outside to kind of like keep it in and close to the body.
Do you normally do your coloring this way, or do you do separate layers?
I do separate layers. I actually do the line art first, and then I do the gray layer that's over the line art or under it. This is actually pretty interesting way that I'm doing this. I kind of like it.
Just painting over your lines.
Yeah.
It's
And
terrifying.
then just gonna do it on a line. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I should.
Welcome to the episode of the Drawcast where we teach you how to draw by drawing ways we've never drawn before.
I mean,
Well,
Or
it's
being like, this
color.
isn't normally how I do it, but
I drew the way that I usually draw, but then like I'm coloring a different way because it's a different program than what I'm used to.
Did you switch over to a non-opacity brush? 'Cause
I
that
just
is
switched to pure black.
just pure
and-
black.
Yeah, I forgot to change the opacity level actually of the brush. It's just yeah. I am also going over like so I'm doing this.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's like if you notice that it slowly gets darker because I keep on going over it.
So this is something interesting to see, because this is not something I do, which is you are now redoing your lines separately over the top.
Yeah.
Because I do it backwards, and I think that kind of what we were talking about with Jonas's style of like very fine brush strokes. You have a very defined, clear line style that I actually really, really like, but I don't like doing it. That's like it's a style that I'm very appreciative of, and a lot of the art that I really love, yours included, is that way because it's so clean and so separative of the colors. And I personally don't like doing it because it is time consuming and I'm slightly envious of it.
It doesn't fit my art style ever, so I don't do it. I tried it and just didn't feel right.
Yeah, it's definitely a completely different style of art for character modeling, and I think it's a little more traditional in the sense that you could get a job being an inker if you're good at this, and I think you are. And a lot of people I've known have gone that route, whereas I'm going a little more. Even though I'm doing things in full color and digital, it's still sketch. It's a sketch, and I like that style. And I probably would never get a job as an inker.
I've been giving you a hard time, Sierra. If you want, I'll switch places with you.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
This was partially Sierra's idea. You got to be the Julia.
It is true. I didn't realize the implication of going last, though, until I brought it up.
I really just wish that I could do a rotate. Oops.
Right? You can.
I-
On the left, there's a little circle below the hand. It won't affect my view at all.
Oh my gosh.
You can do whatever you want.
Beautiful. So up until now, whenever I needed to change angles, I was just actually turning my tablet.
Yep.
This is very awkward for me.
I was going to say, your long curves are really good. Like, being able to do, like, that 2 or 3 inch curve in one stroke. I think one of them got, like, 1 or 2 strokes. Super impressive. That's something with the Drawfee crew. You see them, like, line, Control-Z, line, Control-Z, line, Control-Z, line, Control-Z, line. That one's good. And then they'll move on to the next line. It's something I'm trying to get better at. So you get away from that kind of sketchy line style into a long, smooth curves is really what makes your art look professional really fast.
Just commit to those lines.
Commit to them. You got to commit to those lines. I remember.
I have to make myself available to more lines.
And there we go. This is the character.
It's real cool. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I like it a lot. All right, Dippy, you are up. Do you want to So now, Dippy, we were talking about your style is different than a lot of ours. A lot of ours are more illustrative.
There's a lot more painterly.
Yeah. So where's your starting point?
Right now I'm just doing a bunch of circles to warm up my hand.
Sure.
Found a reference because a big part of my process is direct reference material. And sometimes it will take me literally hours. So I wanted to find a real bird for this. And this is the reference I found. So I am basing this off of a white-crested laughing thrush. So right now I've got reference up of a tab of firebenders, a tab of bird leg anatomy, a tab full of white-crested laughing thrushes, and a tab full of upright walking ornithomimid dinosaurs.
Okay.
I need to decide a pose.
Yeah, like one thing that I'll do, like, I look at references a lot for poses mostly, and also outfits. Like, oh, I like the fabric's design for this, but I like the shape of this, as well as like the accessories from this third piece. Then I try to like take what I like from each one and put it in, and then with poses, like I like the position of this leg, and I think that it could match with like this other leg's position as well from this picture. And like if the person is like doing the thing with like this arm pose, but then if I take what their hands themselves are doing from this,
Yeah.
kind of like putting it in like a collage at first in my brain.
Something I run into a lot of times is when I start doing all of my fine detail, I will like, how do you make this face? What does this face look like? Because I just don't have that much detail or reference in my head. I have to go look at a whole bunch of people's faces.
Yeah, well, like part of what I'm doing here is I'm just have a big, really watered down brush, and I'm just trying to find my shapes. One of the reasons that it's probably really different from me or for me than for you guys is like I'm drawing with a mouse.
Sacrilege.
It necessitates approaching this kind of differently.
Yeah. You madman.
Like I said before, I work with what I've got. I do not have a tablet. I do not have a stylus. And I am super cheap, so I'm working with what I got.
Yeah, I can never get my mouse sensitivity right for it. So I do find it very impressive when anybody can draw with a mouse, especially like really well.
So what it sounds like is we have to do a mouse challenge.
So
Oh,
Try
God.
everything
Here we
with a mouse.
go.
So how I drew with a mouse, I didn't actually use the mouse as a pencil. I used, I don't know, for example, the line tool. You can just draw line from line.
Mhm.
And I started doing shading with that because I don't know, I like doing it like that. I just took like 60 different colors. I was like, yes.
It's like a dot matrix printer, just like drawing each line individually. So this pose is not that different than the last one you drew?
Oh, it's not. The
It's not.
posture is mostly different.
Yeah. And
So
that
I realized after I erased it all that I liked this part. I liked the legs. The problem was torso, the posture, and the spine because it was too hunched over. The neck I didn't like because it was also too hunched over, and I had problems with the shoulders and the wings. I am very anatomy driven when I draw.
I can see your guidelines.
Why I need a lot of reference.
You're you have all the pins for the joints, the ribs, the hips,
Yeah.
and you're blocking those out with just pen strokes. Even since you're using the mouse instead of drawing like the volume shapes, you're actually blocking them in, which is a really cool way to do that.
It really helps me when it comes to time to start to shade as well. And he's supposed to be like about to take off, so I'm having trouble figuring out how I'm going to do these wings now.
Oh yeah, is it pre-flap or post-flap?
I think it's pre.
Yeah, because post
just
flap,
about
they
to,
jump,
like-
don't they? Jump and then flap.
They
Yeah.
do. So I'm once again waffling between doing like a Naruto style run where he's about
Anime bird run.
he's got his arms back or having them like way far back. I don't like either of those. Get some more reference of birds in takeoff. I think I'm not going to do the coat because he's about to take off, and logically doesn't make sense to me that he'd fly in the coat.
Sure. No, super good. You're using blue. I don't think I've ever seen you use a fully desaturated color.
Yeah, correct. I never do.
Is that mechanical in nature or choice?
That is choice.
Choice.
Color theory is kind of my jam.
Is it?
I see a lot of color. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always great with color, but it is important to how I see things, and it's important to my style that I have color there. So I always try to choose a color to sketch in that is going to be roughly opposite on the color wheel from the color I'm going to fill with.
Interesting. Okay.
So see like this is kind of it's a desaturated orangey kind of yellowish color. So I'm going blue because blue is going to be my shadows. When it comes time when this is all clean and I have the shadows and tones the way I want it, and when I color it, all I really have to do is duplicate layer and then put the color I want behind it.
Oh,
It's pretty much done.
interesting.
Right now I'm gonna switch to the eraser tool and I'm gonna start back my highlights. I usually do the light source from the top right.
That's such an arbitrary
Good stuff.
thing, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I almost always go from top left. I don't know why. Probably just because of how my hand is. I have that in my head. I have the shading for top left down.
Yeah.
I wonder if that ever has anything to do with like the time of day that people draw in.
Maybe.
Possible. Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna desaturate my brush even more, and I'm gonna start kind of ghosting in shadow where I want more shadow. I do a lot of the short, fast strokes. Found that if I try to go more slow with the mouse, that actually looks significantly worse. So I gotta go fast and dirty and just be happy with what I get and clean it up as I go.
It feels a lot more like a chalk painting than like a brush painting because of the speed at which it's done. It has a very like pastel feel to it towards the end, which I really dig. I really, really dig it. Smearing it into the page. I guess that's how all art is done. Smearing something into a page. At different levels of
Smearage.
smearage, yeah. What you're doing now could translate over very easily to spray paint. Could transfer over easily to pastels or oils, like oil sticks, whatever those are called.
I think sometimes they're called like pigment sticks
Pigment
or
sticks.
whatever.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah. I mean, it is because I think you have a very good grasp of the fundamentals of what you're doing, and so it's interesting to see that those are possible with different tools. Because I hate using a mouse, but
Yeah, that what I just did is like the favorite thing I've ever learned from Drawfee is how Karina just like slops
Oh, the
color on.
dirty icing.
Yeah,
dirty
and then goes
icing.
back and cleans it up.
I've not heard that before. I must have missed.
Different art styles, and she did Bakugo in the style of Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay,
It's so good.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie.
I think that's like one of my favorite Karina drawings.
It's like one of everybody's favorite Karina drawings.
I think so, yeah.
Go watch
I
Drawfee.
Right now.
That's really what we were saying. We were just yelling at you to go watch Drawfee. What did they just post? The drawing, the Jackbox? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That looks
Jackbox.
super fun. That might be
I
something.
have yet to watch it.
That might be something
Oh,
worth investing
it's so
in.
good. Was it Julia in the beginning who's like, apparently the people who make Jackbox games are fans of ours? And I'm like,
Yeah.
of course they are, Julia. You're amazing. Why do you sound so surprised?
Everyone should be fans of yours, yeah.
Are we doing fan art with a video? Is that what we're doing? Are we doing fan videos? Is that what this
Totally. You're the one who proposed this. I thought you knew.
Wait a minute.
Oh man.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to classify that because this is I guess this is pseudo a fan video because we are just trying to do a Drawfee style thing. But I don't know how to.
I'm drawing another person's character.
I'm just waiting for Jacob to like slap me with a cease and desist. You can't do Drawfee style stuff. That's our thing. That was a terrible Jacob impression.
You can't have a not Jacob.
What's this not Jacob thing?
This
Julia.
I don't understand. This is
That's really what this is. We have 4 like hardcore fans, and then Jonas.
Jonas.
He's like the guy from Room Full of Vampires.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And I think I'm call it good for now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Did you just realize you're up next?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the oh no.
Has nothing to do with me.
All right, Sierra, you are up. You have the most personal stake in this because if you destroy this, you will be shunned by the author.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be like, what the heck?
What did those
Why did
people
you-
do to my bird?
especially me.
Those 2 guys in the beginning, I don't think they've ever seen birds before.
She's gonna be like, and you, why didn't you do better? You've only been playing with these characters for like 1 game so far.
That's what we
How
got.
many of us drew the bird with the head facing in the same direction? Not Rook. I know Rook didn't.
All of us except Rook.
I have a weird issue that might be unique to me. I'm not sure. Whenever I look at reference, I draw it backwards. I draw referenced things mirrored. I don't know why. See, you're going straight for the lines, like the body lines.
Yeah.
That's not something. I think I do something more similar to that.
So aggressive. So
just scratch it in there. Scratch it in there.
I really do. I think I really do just kind of like scratch it in there. Because I'm terrible.
Ooh.
I have so many different layers that I go through. Like everything just gets like more and more structured and then more and more defined. I don't know. Like I think sometimes it takes me like 5 layers just to get through second guessing myself, and so then I'll edit as I like go up the stages. Usually there's like 5 different layers, and whatever I started with looks nothing like what I ended up with.
The other thing I did notice is that we all have completely different pen styles.
Yeah.
Like start to finish. I think yours is almost at the opposite from mine as it can get, because like you have a lot of variation in the line.
I love my pen pressure.
I'm surprised we have not made more Critical Role references during this episode.
That you know what? I
No.
expected
How
that
have
one
we not
too.
done that?
please do, because that's something I know. Holy shit.
We've just been too busy fangirling over Drawfee.
Right?
Imagine if the fucking Drawfee cast like Luke watches this and then they're like, not Jacob going, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Not Jacob. But he's such a sweet
Oh,
boy.
I don't know. Who the fuck is Jacob? My channel is just everything from my perspective.
It's just you drawing by yourself, not even paying attention. What's happening? What was Jonas drawing while they were drawing that bird?
Do you guys want to see what I'm doing drawing?
Not right now. Not while we're doing this. But later, yeah.
Afterwards.
Absolutely afterwards. Okay, I gotta ask. Oh, it's the... I'm an idiot. I had a brief moment of, like, brain collapse looking at the leg. And I thought the foot was the hand. And I'm like, but where'd the leg go? And I'm like, I see the wings. And I'm like, the wings are the hands, you idiot. Wings are the hands.
I like how you
That,
said
honestly, that is something that I was like, I think I'm actually having more problems because of that, because I'm like, how do I already have problems drawing regular hands. What am I supposed to do with bird hands? With wing hands?
How do you do bird hands? But no, yeah, I really dig this pose, but I thought for a brief second he was like holding his foot. And I'm like, that's a weird choice, but all right.
Doing like before match stretches.
Yep, just like bird yoga right here. Like, hold on a second. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. And I'm gonna
I don't know.
scratch it with my
I think
toes.
they
I'm almost getting a like a long sleeve kimono vibe,
I like the coat though. So
which I actually
Yeah.
kind of like, because like the cut off sleeves is cool, but I also like the idea that the bird wings are kind of concealed by long sleeves, and then those just drape as you fly around. I think that's really cool.
I'm frightened by how brave you are with your lines.
So
I am too, actually. Feels good.
What you're doing right now, are you condensing those layers? I don't have the layer palette open, so I can't actually see
No,
what's happening.
I'm just continuously like stacking layers on top of each
Stacking
other.
layers, and then you're almost onion skinning, is what it
Yeah.
feels like to me, which is kind of really cool. I never would have thought to do that, to just keep iterating on top of. I always turn off my layers when I'm done with them.
No, I do that all the time because there are things that I might like. Sometimes there are things that I bring back that I'm like, actually, I like the way this was done in like my very, very first like initial layer. I preferred the way that spine curved versus what I have going on right here.
That's awesome.
I love doing things that way, especially just because now I can actually think about lines. I've noticed that if I get stuck on like the beginning stages, I will never get anywhere. Just kind of started like, all right, just bust something out just so I have something on the page, because I realize that like once I have something on the page, even if I hate it, I think if anything it's better if I hate it, because then I'm like, okay, quickly fix this.
Yeah. I think on my end, I feel like I erase more than I draw a lot of the time. A lot of my art is me removing color from stuff. I don't know if that's good or not. I sometimes worry about it. It's like, I erase too much.
I really like the look that it gives your stuff, though, Rook. the way it kind of cleans up your cross hatching.
Like I think I saw somebody on YouTube do that once, and I was just like, holy crap! Why haven't I been doing this?
I highly recommend the Karina slop it on.
Slop it on. I might try to start doing that. Yeah.
I just realized, like, I don't think I introduced myself. Sorry, my name is Sierra, and I hesitate to say professional illustrator when I don't know, I guess want to impress, maybe, because part of me feels like, oh, that's not true, you know? Even though I've gotten paid to do illustrations, but it's more like, I'm not technically published at all, so it's like, I don't, how much of this is true and how much of this isn't?
Titles are weird. Titles are hard. I think you could legitimately say illustrator because that's what you want people to see you as. I think that's fine. Your level of prestige doesn't give you the title. I think you kind of have to define your own thing first, and then people can argue about how good you are at it if they really want to do it. But that's on them.
Yeah, I hardcore agree. You definitely have
Jacob?
to define yourself as that first.
No, see, this is the thing. I went first. I feel like maybe I should have colored mine now.
You're not the only one.
I'm sorry, I started this.
Yep.
See, Nathan and Jacob fall into that trap too. Every single episode.
Julia! Julia, that's so good. Every single
I
time.
guess me and Rook is Wait, not Wait, I'm not.
Oh, do I get to be Nathan? I don't have a beard,
Yeah.
though. I don't have a beard.
I have a beard though.
Okay, you give me Nathan then. I guess I get to be the sassy one.
No, I'm going.
I'll be Jacob. You be not Jacob.
This is not chill enough to be Nathan.
I don't think any of us are chill enough to be Nathan.
That is definitely true.
Sometimes I start color in the middle, so like before I actually bust out finished line work. And I think part of the reason why I do that is because if I notice that like when I put color down, that there are too many areas where things are like too close together, I can still slightly change the line work.
Interesting. Okay.
That's why I haven't like gone over this.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? You wanna go through and clean it up? You wanna do that after the stream?
Yeah, I can do that. I wanted to add some multiply and screen layers too.
So what we can do then is we will I'll go bam, and we'll see the final version of yours right here on the screen, and then we can go pow 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 and put everybody else's up all at the same time, and we can show that off. I'm sure these all look amazing together. But yeah, thank you everybody for doing this with me today. This was a lot of fun, and thank you again.
SuikaBunni.
Perfect. We do very much appreciate you letting us draw your character. It's a very cool character. I'm glad we got to do some fun stuff with it. I think we're going to try to do stuff like this in the future. Whether or not we do more of the drawings, we did look through all of the submissions, and there are some really good ones in there that I would love to tackle. That might be something we do on a live stream just for fun. If not, I will drop all of the links for Ace and Sierra and Dippy and Jonas if Jonas wants me to post to the art station. We had some, I think that conversation we had got cut out because of the lost audio. So if you want me to put your art station down, we'll do that. All of those links will be in the comment below. Feel free to check those out. Come support some of our artists there. If you're new to the Discord, definitely share your work with us. It doesn't have to be something you're submitting to us. Just we'd love to see your work. We'd love to grow the community more in that direction because we'd like seeing those work. If you have a cool D&D character, definitely share that with us. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think about this type of episode. This was very much heavily inspired by Drawfee. Thank you again for paving the way for amazing content.
Please don't sue us.
Please don't sue us. Jacob, please don't sue us.
I love you so much.
We love you so much. Julia, please convince everybody not to sue us.
I really need to watch those guys.
Karina, we love your dirty icing. I think is great technique. We're going to keep working on that. And Nathan, you're super chill. We dig it. Thank you very much. We definitely hope that we can, we hope we did this format justice, and hopefully we'll do some more fun things like this in the future. If you'd like to see something slightly different or you have cool ideas, let us know. We're going to just keep building content and see how this goes, trying to expand the Discord out into probably multiple channels and multiple... definitely check out everyone down below. Check out the Discord, and keep your dice on the table, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye, I guess.
Thanks, everybody.